Arguably the hardest GM in the entire game, one of the hardest activities in the entire game. The strategy will make it easy. Grandmaster Lightblade guide. First, we're going to start out with class-specific loadouts. I'm going to go over each class. We're starting with Hunter. I love invisibility for this. Omnioculus, in my opinion, best invisibility exotic in the game. We're rocking this with Gambler's Dodge, Deadfall Tether, Trapper's Ambush, and Vanishing Steps. You have two sources of invisibility. I've then got Starvation, so that every time you pick up a breach or an orb, you get Devour, and then we have Harvest so that we can create those orbs and breaches. We then got Persistence, so that the invisibility and Devour durations you have are increased, and Obscurity for a third way to go invisible on finishers. For mods specifically, Triple Arc Resist to help you survive in the boss room, Arc Scavenger, or whatever scavenger matches your heavy weapon. We got things to keep our cooldowns up, things like Utility Kickstart and Grenade Kickstart, Reaper to generate orbs. We got things like Bomber for additional grenade uptime, things like Bolstering Detonation and Momentum Transfer for greater uptime on our class ability and melee, and then things to create more orbs and keep us stocked on ammo, such as a Siphon mod for our main weapon and some heavy ammo stuff over here. For Warlock, I actually highly recommend the brand new Strand aspect, Weave Walk, which basically acts like Void Invisibility. It's also going to go extremely strong with Weaver's Call and Threadling Grenade. When you pair that all up with Thread of Evolution, gives you 3 different ways to generate Threadlings, which do a pretty solid amount of damage. Also got Thread of Generation, so that you can have more uptime on this grenade, and Thread of Fury, so that when you throw a Tangle at stuff, you'll get more melee energy, so you can have more juice for that Weave Walk. Also going with Swarmers, so that Threadlings spawn from Tangles and unravel targets, so you can create additional Tangles, gives you even more Threadlings in the battle. As far as mods go, it's pretty similar to the Hunter. We've got stuff like Outreach, Bomber, and Reaper, Scavenger for your heavy weapon, Triple Arc Resist to keep you safe in the boss room, things that keep your abilities up, Impact Induction, Bolstering, and Momentum, and, you know, stuff like Dynamo to get additional supers, a Siphon, and stuff to keep your heavy stockpiled. Finally, for Titan, we're going with Strand. I know Suspend isn't as good as it used to be, but it's still very strong for this strike because it takes the Barrier Champions and Hive Guardians out of commission in the boss room, starting with Dranger's Lash, so that your Titan Barricade will send out that lash so that it suspends everything. We've also got Banner of War, which is extremely strong in this current meta of Destiny. I love it a lot for Grandmasters and, you know, just the game in general. We've got Thread of Mind, so that when you defeat suspended targets, you get class ability energy back, so you can take advantage of Dranger's Lash a little bit more. You got Thread of Continuity, so that your suspends last a little bit longer. You got Thread of Wisdom, so that you generate an orb of power when you defeat suspended targets, and Thread of Generation, so you can have higher uptime on your grenade, which is of course the Shackle Grenade, another source of suspension. As for the exotic, we're going with Aviant Leap, so that you can suspend even more targets, and so you can get Woven Mail whenever you do suspend something, which is extremely huge in this strike, so you can have a little bit more durability. Also got Triple Arc Damage Resist, things like Grenade Kickstart, Bolstering Detonation, things to keep your abilities up. Got stuff like Dynamo and Kinetic Siphon, so we can generate some orbs, stuff like Bomber and Powerful Attraction, and some Surge mods or some Scavenger mods to make your weapons do more damage or to have high uptime on your heavy weapon ammo capacity. As far as weapons go for the strike, we have Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, along with Arc and Strand Surge and a Grenade Launcher Overcharge. Keep in mind the Overcharge and Surges do not stack, so don't feel like you have to double dip into those. For the Barrier Champions, in my opinion, Wish Ender is by far the absolute best weapon for dealing with these, so we're going to have that in all 3 slots on our fire team. As for the heavy weapon, we're going to go with a Arc or Strand to match that Surge, Rocket Launcher, or Grenade Launcher. In my opinion, these are way better than linear fusion rifles. Having the ability to burst down those champions and Hive Guardians in the boss room is extremely valuable, so definitely go with something with burst like rockets. There's only like 2 or 3 unstoppable champions in this strike, so I actually only recommend that one person on your fire team actually run an unstoppable weapon, like an unstoppable fusion. The other 2, I think, can just go something like a Blind Grenade Launcher or a Wave Frame Grenade Launcher for a little bit better damage on the Thrall, Cursed Thrall in the boss room, and just general better ad clear throughout the strike. You do not need to have all 3 players on an unstop, just because unstop you don't need to have too many people on it, and there's so few unstops in the strike, full stop. Okay, I'm doing the strike. But real quick, let's talk about a setup upgrade that you deserve. When I was a console gamer, I thought PCs were just a fad, but after 10 years of gaming on one, I have never looked back. With a PC, you just get way more storage space, significantly higher frame rates, and much better performance. So why not treat yourself to a Starforge system, the best PCs in the universe, built at premium quality and with a full 2-year warranty. Head to my link in the description to go buy yours now so you can thank yourself later. Come right here, hang out in the back, and use the Wish Ender. We're just going to chip away at this dude while staying safe until he phases out. You don't need that much damage into him, so we're just going to chip away at him. We're going to ignore literally every other enemy in this arena, including the barrier champions. As that door opens, your Invis Hunter or your Weave Walk Warlock can just go Invis and run past literally all of these enemies, and you're going to despawn them once you get to this door over here. Now, I know you're maybe thinking, wait, you're despawning both the barrier champions? I want platinum. Even if you despawn these two barrier champions, you still get platinum at the end of the strike. So once you go over here, once you see a champion has appeared, it means the champions in the next room have showed up. So that means all of these guys are going away. Your teammates can then come forth, and you can begin walking into this room. Now for this room, I like taking out these initial enemies right here at the door. So we're just going to go ahead and drop the wizards and the acolytes. We also got a little cluster of enemies over here. And then I absolutely love hopping over to this right side balcony to begin the initial part of this room, because the high ground makes it pretty difficult for this Lightblade warrior to hit you with his shields. It is still possible if he throws his shields at these like pillars and then they bounce off the pillars and they hit you, but it is very unlikely. So I focus entirely on the Lightblade warrior. I don't really worry about anything else. In fact, I try to intentionally avoid killing other enemies, because if you kill too many of the trash mobs, that is what will spawn further waves in this room. Now, this Lightblade warrior can throw suppression grenades up there, so be careful of that. Just killed both of my teammates, but keep an eye out for that. Invis Hunter works really well for getting down and popping that ghost shell on that guy, so you're completely good to go in terms of executing him without putting yourself in any danger. And now we just have 2 more barrier champions to nuke. So I'm gonna come up here and get my friends, which they're completely safe now, by the way, because the only thing that can really kill you up there is the Knight Shield Throw having a weird bounce, or the suppression grenade. So with that Hive Barrier Guardian Knight down, you're completely safe up here. I actually shouldn't have killed that Acolyte. Remember, avoid killing the Acolytes because you don't want to spawn the next Light Bearer up here. We just want to try and knock down these barrier champions. And with the Hive Guardian gone, it is a lot safer to kind of make your way around the rest of the arena. And once again, just trying to kill the barrier knights once you take out that Hive Guardian. I'm going to try and avoid shooting a rocket because, like I said, don't want to take out that Acolyte, don't want to accidentally spawn the next wave. So this guy's suspended now. Not much he can do. And he's dead, and boom, right there on cue, spawns the next Hive Guardian. So we're just going to chill out here. The one thing you do need to watch out for is when you spawn him, you will have some Acolytes and some Thralls spawn out of this door. So if you're still up here, be aware of that. You can throw a grenade at the door to kind of knock them all out, and you should be good. But, yep. So, right here, I'm kind of hiding because I don't want his shield bounces to accidentally nick this spire and then come and hit me. So I'm just kind of hanging out up here. Now he's more so at low ground, so I'm not as worried. And now that he's dead, I can rush in, get the finisher. Echo of Obscurity, of course, allows me to do that super safely without being at any risk of dying. Come down here, get my buddy. Absolutely love Void Hunter for this because it makes it super easy to get your teammates reses if, you know, they accidentally get in the spot where they shouldn't be, or if they get hit by a rogue suppression grenade, stuff like that. Now we have our 2 Sword Knights and our final Lightblade Warrior. This one cannot be suspended because it is a boss tier enemy. And we're just going to keep doing what we were doing last time. Got a Hive Guardian up, which means we're making our way up here to the balcony. In fact, I think one of my teammates actually ended up killing him. I saw it in the kill feed. The Lightblade Warrior, Lightblade Guardian, something like that. I saw the points for it, so I knew that his ghost was able to be crushed. About 5 minutes in, that's how we get through that room. You can do it even faster. I probably shouldn't have used my tether on the second Hive Guardian. I probably should have dropped it in the middle on that 3rd wave spawn. There we go. 1 rocket. Yep, they're all dead. And we're done. That's what it looks like if you save tether for that part. Then we'll be on our way with the boat, and there's a lot of tips for the boat that I really, really like. So I'm going to show you those in a bit. My teammates are going to get on the boat with me. And when you're on the boat, you're literally just going to crouch, and you're going to pretend like all of these enemies here on the left and right do not exist. If you crouch, none of them can see you. You literally, all you're gonna do is wind up your bows and get ready to sauce this Shrieker the second it opens. If all three of you tag it with your Wish Ender, it should die pretty much instantly. It's not gonna hit any of you whatsoever. And boom. Oh, one of my teammates missed, but that's okay. Shoot a second arrow. All gone. Now, for this part, you can utilize the Invis Hunter and the Weavewalk Warlock to completely skip the 2 champions. If you want to kill them for the tokens, that's completely fine. Just, if you do, I recommend baiting out their super and then hiding right here in the crevice while they, you know, do their entire super. However, me personally, I don't really think we're going to need the tokens, so I'm just going to use my invisibility to run past them. This does not impact your platinum whatsoever. Just use Invis, grab the ball, hop down, do it on both sides. So I'll just have my teammates wait in the boat. And once again, go Invis, dodge past them, get my smoke bomb back. Hop up, get the ball, grab the void charge, and we'll be on our way. Now for this boat part, this part's super annoying, but it's made very easy with an Omnioculus Hunter because we are not going to kill a single enemy. Because I'm using Omnioculus and I get 50% of my smoke bomb back every time I make an ally invisible, I get 100% of the smoke bomb back if I make both of my allies invisible, which means we can just sit here and I can use smoke bomb after smoke bomb after smoke bomb after smoke bomb, and we never have to touch a single enemy, and they don't even know that we're here. They just see a random mysterious boat moving around with 0 people on it. They don't know why the boat is moving towards this gutter that's on the way to kill their boss, but it is. So, you know, no harm, no foul. If you do not have an Omnioculus Hunter, I recommend getting off of the boat, letting the boat go all the way, and then slowly jumping your way from platform to platform as you kill the enemies. There will be a little portal that spawns above this bridge that you can go to teleport to the next room, because I feel like standing on the boat and trying to actually kill the enemies on the boat is a little more trouble than it's worth. I personally love this strategy, but, you know, use whichever one you like. And of course, once we get off of the boat, I'm going to hop up into this little section. Thrall won't kill me. They won't touch me. Super safe. Omnioculus Hunter just feels great for the strike. Speaking of Omnioculus Hunter, I'm considering doing merch for like Destiny builds. So we could do like an Omnioculus Hunter piece of merch, maybe an Arc Hunter piece of merch, maybe just Hunter merch, Warlock merch, blah, blah in general. I'm trying to gauge interest for that. So if you check out the description of this video, there's going to be a form if you're interested in some cool Destiny merch that we're looking to make. Trying to gauge interest. Do me a favor, fill it out if you want. Like and subscribe too while you're down there if you're not already. Helps out a lot. Thank you. Now for the swamp part, I love just, once again, Omnioculus Hunter is the key to this strike. You have your 2 teammates wait in the back. Don't kill a thing, unless, of course, something's, you know, trying to kill you. Have your Omnioculus Hunter just utilize Invis. I don't even really bother doing any of the lanterns or anything. You just use your Invis cooldowns and make your way across. The only thing you do need to watch out for is there are a couple moths that you will have to kill, namely those 2 right there on the left, as you make that initial squeeze through. But after that, you're pretty much scot-free. And I save my Invis cooldowns in case an enemy creeps up on me and starts shooting. I really like hugging this right side of the ball because it, you know, guarantees that none of the moths will come after you. And I'm always just checking my back to make sure that there's not a screeb on my tail or, you know, a scorn sniper or whatever they're called after me. So once I get past that part, obviously we have some moths there far right. So now I just kind of go more dead center. So I go a little more dead center and make sure those moths up there aren't hunting me. Gonna use my Invis cooldowns again. And here I'm gonna sneak my way through this tree. Mantle that so I can dodge those moths, and then those moths behind there are none the wiser. Got some screeves after me, but no worries. We can use the dodge to get some invisibility, and that same dodge, of course, refunds our smoke bombs. So now we have more sources of invisibility. Keep on pacing, keep on pacing. Once again, my teammates are at the far back. And even if both of your teammates die, it's completely okay. You'll see why in a second as I cross the finish line over here. And while I'm crossing the finish line, it feels like a good time to mention, we record all of these live at twitch.tv/Mactics. We do carries as well. So if you're needing help with these or you just want to watch, stop by. Once I make that past, you'll notice that in this area, the Weight of Darkness debuff is completely gone. So now we can completely sprint and we're good to go. Also, all of the enemies despawn. The only thing that doesn't despawn though is the moths. So if you're gonna run back and pick up your teammates, or if your teammates are running through, make sure they're aware that there will be moths up, but there's no actual regular enemies, and you can sprint. Moving on to this part, this is the first unstoppable in the entire strike. This is why I say only one person on your fire team needs unstoppable. So you have an unstoppable here, and then you have 1 to 2 more in the next room, and then that is it for unstoppables. That is why I say just have 2 people rocking whatever else. You really don't need fusion rifles on your entire fire team. Careful of the moths or electric butterflies. They do kind of hide in these caverns. Tough to see with the lighting, so be aware of those. And then for this section, we're going to prioritize the Shriekers above all else, because if we kill both Shriekers, the boss automatically goes away. The only other thing is, you want to make sure you at least get a hit on the unstoppable abomination if he is down there. Reason being is that because the unstoppable abomination is a pretty big disadvantage. It's kind of getting ganged up on by these ogres and by the unstoppable. And if he dies without you getting a hit on him, you won't get credit for the kill, and then you actually won't get platinum. Make sure you're doing your best to kill him. Occasionally, too, if you kill him early enough, another one will appear, as you can see right there. So just keep an eye out for that. A champion has appeared text that might pop up. Boss room. What makes this arguably the hardest GM in the entire game, one of the hardest activities in the entire game. This strategy will make it easy. Start out by hopping down. That Oryx and Akka statue I call the north side of the room. I like to come over here to the south side. See all these orbs falling down? That means we all just basically use our supers right away to get a good chunk of damage off on him. He's gonna hop across, toss a few rockets into him, get some good damage on the supers. Right after you use the supers, you can go ahead and run around here and scavenge all the orbs as you go ahead and pick off the rest of the enemies. This is why I love having that Forbearance, by the way. Absolutely sauces up all those thrall. 1 shot's the regular ones, 2 shots the cursed. Feels really, really good. Invis Hunter is also amazing for this GM, because anytime you have a teammate die, doesn't really matter. You have so many Invis cooldowns, you can get them easily. As long as the Invis Hunter doesn't die, you're good. Only problem here is they obviously won't be able to pick up the orbs, but that's okay. Gotta wait for the boss to move a little bit. And actually, I can just showcase the strategy that makes this fight so easy. If you have one player juggle the boss, he will never shoot at you, never come after anyone, any of that. The basic rule is, if he is on the bowl or on the ground, you stand right here above him. If he is on that position, you stand on the bowl. And you just go back and forth like this all day long. And if he does shoot at you, you just back up a little bit. Oh, completely safe. Hops up there, which means we're back to the bowl. Hops down, which means we're back over here. And he'll just bounce around all day long. You and your teammates can go ahead and take chip shots at him. Not gonna touch him. Now, once we get him to 2/3 HP, we're of course going to spawn the 2 Sword Knights and the Hive Guardian. The Hive Guardian will always spawn on the east side of the bowl, right there. Remember, we said that the Oryx and Akka statue was north. So, I always like to try and one-shot the Hive Guardian. So we'll get in a spot. There we go. Get in a spot to absolutely nuke him. East side, I like to get my tether down initially. Grenade, rocket, all that good stuff. Toss him up. Careful of him throwing a suppression grenade. Drop him. Get the ghost. Easy. Now, you don't want to kill both Sword Knights yet. You instead want to scavenge or run around and get all of the orbs. The reason you don't kill both Sword Knights is once you kill both Sword Knights and the Hive Guardian, that's what brings Alakul back out. And you obviously want to clean up the rest of the room, get your supers back, get all the orbs, clean up all the curse thrall, all that jazz. So you can kill one of them. I see this one's weak, so I'll go ahead and drop a finisher on him. But the other one we're leaving alive so that we don't progress the fight. That way we can run around, get our supers back, get our proper positioning, clean up all the curse thrall. Once you enter this stage of the fight, all the curse thrall are dead, we all have supers, and we have 1 Sword Knight left alive. What I like to do is I like to have both of my teammates, the non-Invis Hunters, position to the right of the Oryx and Akka statue behind this pillar. Kind of right here where I'm standing. You don't want to have your butts on the pillar. Otherwise, if Alakul shoots at you, you'll get splash damage. So I like to be like right around here. The reason you're here is because when we enter the next stage of the fight, we'll have 2 barrier champions spawn. One of them will either be right here or across the balcony. And this position gives you cover from Alakul and is in a prime spot to absolutely sauce the champion. If he's across the way, you'll just shoot rockets at him. If he's right here, they'll both pop their supers instantly and shut him down. The difference between having 2 barrier champions up in the arena and having 1 is night and day. So having that set up before you even enter the phase to absolutely one-shot one of them is amazing. Meanwhile, the Hunter is just going to do that little aggro back and forth that I just showed you guys. The reason you want the Invis Hunter to do it is because, of course, the aggro back and forth is a little different when you have guys shooting at you. So give your invis cooldowns to get out of, you know, a bad situation. So right here, my teammates are going to go ahead and work on those barriers. Meanwhile, I'm just hopping around holding the boss's aggro. He's jumping back and forth on me. You know, I'm giving him a tap and saying, hey, I'm over here. He's staying aggroed on me, which means my teammates get completely free reign to sauce the champions without the boss running at them, without the boss shooting at them. Boss is completely on me. And both of the barrier champions are already dead now. That is the #1 way that I recommend dealing with this. Now, of course, we have another set of champions once the boss hits 50% HP. One of those two champions will always spawn out of either the south side door or right next to the south side door. So now I have my teammates set up on the south side door while I just continue to do the same thing, juggle the boss's aggro. Again, south side door is directly across from the Oryx and Akka statue, so right where my vortex grenade is. You can juggle Ala Cool around and wait for your supers to regen so that you can one-shot that champion, or if you're feeling confident, you can just take him out with rockets and heavy ammo and things of that nature. I'm going to shoot my tether over there to help him out. And once again, your Invis Hunter is going to juggle around the boss, use the Invis cooldowns to weave in and out of invisibility so that you don't hold aggro of the other barrier knight that's in the arena, while still, generally speaking, being able to hold aggro of the boss. So I'm just making sure he's still paying attention to me. You can even go to the ground too if you want, if you're not comfortable going up on the balconies because you're worried that there's some acolytes up there, the barrier champion. Back and forth, all day long. Now on this side, I see there's literally no enemies, so I'm more comfortable to go up here. And once again, my teammates have cleared out the entire arena without being in any danger whatsoever from the boss because I was just juggling him around the whole time. Now here, we're about to get another Hive Guardian, so we're just going to continue chipping away at the boss, but we're going to be setting up on the east side so that we can sauce that Hive Guardian right away. Here he comes. And remember, it's okay to use supers here because you get a whole lot of orbs that spawn in the arena right when he comes out. Make sure you're careful with the suppressor grenade. Hive Guardian is #1. Don't really care about the 2 sword guys yet, because this is the only guy realistically in the arena that can kill us. Now, occasionally if he jumps and you kill him right after he jumps or while he's mid-air, his orb will be in the spot where his feet were last like solidly touching the ground. If he jumps up to the balcony and you just kill him and you notice his ghost isn't there, look at where he jumped from. It's probably where his orb will be. Once again, same as before, running around, tagging off all the cursed thrall, getting all the orbs to get our supers back. Only difference between this phase and the 2/3 phase is champions will not spawn immediately after we bring the boss out. They'll instead spawn at 25% HP. We'll instead get a wave of thrall. So, tag that guy up, get the boss's aggro again. I believe it is 8 thrall in total that we get. So once again, just juggling the aggro. Thrall typically like to come to the middle if there's someone in the middle, so I like to bait him in there. Drop a little grenade. Good to go. Now this is the part where you have 2 champions and you don't really get any setup. And this is the part where you want to let your supers fly. Absolutely assassinate one of the champions. I've lost boss aggro, but that's okay because I know he's on the ground. So I'm not super worried, and I see the other barrier champion is to my left. So all I'm doing, since I don't have boss aggro and I don't have a reliable way to juggle him right now, is I'm just kind of playing my life, making sure there's something between me and the boss and me and the champions. And I'm just playing from range, using these big pillars to make sure he can't hit me, but also making sure I'm not standing too close to them so that I get hit by the splash damage. And I'm just chipping away at this barrier knight from range. Send a rocket to finish him off. And that is every single enemy dead. We will get another wave of thrall when the boss is at 10% HP. But relatively speaking, those guys are inconsequential. Might be 10%, 50%, something like that. But yeah, they're all dead. So not too big of a deal. So once again, in terms of safety, I'm going to try to get aggro of the boss again so I can go back to juggling him. I don't like where he's at. If you're ever in a situation like this where it's just you and him alive, this middle bowl is your best friend. So right here, we're just going to go ahead and do what we were doing last time, just to prove a point. Not even going to res my teammates, although you definitely should if you're in this situation. But I'm so confident in this strategy that I'm not worried at all. So I don't see him. I don't see him hopping up. I'm not going to peek over because I don't want him to shoot at me. I'm just letting him do his thing. I'm letting him come up to me. Back and forth. Not shooting. Boop. And that's it. Hope it helped. Like, subscribe. Twitch.tv/Mactics if you need additional help. See you there.